All right, so in this one, we are going to create a new model called featured. Now, this product featured is about showing a product here on this main Jumbotron and just adjusting it based off of that product. So if we go into our Sublime Text, we're going to create this new model. So we'll do class product featured, and it's going to be models.model. Product, of course, so models.foreign key of product. We're going to have a featured image itself, so models.image field, and image, and then upload to. We're going to do something very similar to the image upload to, but this time we're going to add one more thing to it, and that is going to be the slug and then slash featured. That's all. I'm going to upload to featured. And this cannot be blank. Then we'll say title, models.charfield, max length, 120, and then text, actually we could have null equals to true, and blank equals to true. Text equals to models.charfield, max length, 220, null true, blank true. And then we could say if we want it left or right, so let's just say text right equals to models.boolean field default equals to false. So if we want the text on the right or the left, we'll just say text right. That's a very easy way to do that. And then the last thing, maybe we want to show price models.boolean field default equals to false, because the price itself could also be written in the text if you were so inclined. And then we would say active, so models.boolean field default equals to true. Then we'll define a Unicode of self, and we're going to return self.product.title. All right, so we've got this item featured. There is another thing that we could do is like a time stamp, like when we would want it to no longer appear, but that's just not something I'm going to cover right now. But you could just have a date and time field and then create a model manager for it to actually have it disappear at certain times. But now that we have this, let's go ahead and add it into our database with python manage.py, make migrations, and then python manage.py migrate. And I'm going to run the server. And I'm going to add this product featured into our admin. So we want to go into our admin, import the admin product featured, and then admin.site.register, product featured. And let's go back in here and go into the admin, log in, product featureds. We're going to add one. The product, let's say, I'm going to add a new product actually. I'm going to call it iPhone. And it's going to take a price of $199.99 in electronics. And then the default is also electronics for the category. Save that. The image itself, I uploaded a new image into our e-commerce 2 image folder. And this image itself is going to be called iPhone feature. This is 1200 by 500 as far as the image is concerned. So we're going to upload that, and we'll say the text. We'll just leave it blank for now, and I will show price. Hit save. All right, so now we have a featured item of some and we do want to add the price because we want to make sure that our variation has the price. So going into default iPhone, we have our price and our default title. Perfect, that's what we want to see. So we'll save that. And now go back into our home page, but first off we're going to log out and stay on the logged out version of it. So we'll go into our views.py for our home page, which is inside of our newsletter. So views.py, this is our home page here. So this is actually where we're going to set this background image. So the first one is off of this home right here, and I'm just going to say featured image equals to, well, we're going to have to import it. So from products.models, import product featured. Featured image is equal to product featured.objects.all.first actually. So this will give us our featured image, and we'll set it here. All right, so now we want to go into the template for this. If we look down, it's just home.html. Let's close out a few things. Home, oops, not JavaScript, but home.html. And in here, this is where we're going to put it. And what I'll do now is I'll just say if featured image, we'll put that, else we'll put the original Jumbotron, and we'll put another end-if statement here because we have two up there. So I'm going to tab this in to indicate that we have a featured image 1, 2. And then I'll copy the Jumbotron stuff, paste it into the featured image. Okay, so featured image, let's just do featured image here. I'll do featured image dot product dot title, not title because we don't actually have one yet. And then I will do featured image description down here, product dot description, which would be our text later. And then finally our reference, or href, would be featured image dot product dot get absolute URL, and we'll just say more details. And then instead of this iframe for a YouTube link, we'll do image source equals to, and that's going to be featured image dot URL, as we've seen before, and we'll do class image dash responsive, and we'll close that off. All right, now let's look at our homepage. We refresh in here, and now it's showing the iPhone stuff. Cool. If I click on more details, it takes me to that new product that we created that doesn't have anything in it, but it has been created and it is in there. So now that we have this, let's actually make this a little bit cooler. So we're going to put this as the background image. So that's another one that we want to actually add in here, is we're going to add another Boolean field here and say background, or make image background equals to models.boolean field, default equals to false. And we're going to do python manage.py, make migrations, and python manage.py migrate. Run the server, jump back into our admin, and into our product features, iPhone, make background image, make image background, save that. All right, so back into our view, or excuse me, on our home.html. Now we kind of have to think about this stuff. First of all, we'll say if Jumbotron, or excuse me, if featured image dot make image background. We're going to want to add in some class stuff here. So I'm going to actually cut this and put it into the Jumbotron CSS call itself. So this is also going to assume that featured image is there. If it's not there, then we have a different issue that we run into, but we're going to just assume that there is going to be a featured image there no matter what. And now I'll just do dot background image, and we'll set a URL. And this URL here is going to be featured image dot URL. And it's not dot background image, it's just background image. It's going off of this CSS up here. All right, now we save it, and we go back into our home page. Let's log out. And now we see that we have that image as a background. So there's other things that we could do to the CSS, so let's actually do it in Chrome. I'm going to go into Inspect Element here and click on the Jumbotron. And as we see, we have, let's go back in here, we have our background image stuff coming through. And if we did background repeat, we could say no repeat, so it's not actually repeated all throughout. So we'll add that in. And then if there is a background image, maybe we want to have the background color to being black or something something different. So background color, we'll just put it as black. So then it's black. And then we also might want to add the size. So background size, we can add cover, which essentially stretches the image to fit the background, which is cool. So background size cover. All right, now that's showing up not too bad. We also might want to change where it's located, which you can. So background position of Y, so the up and down position. X would be left and right, Y is up and down. And we could say negative 150. That should bring it up quite a bit. Actually, we might want to bring it up even more than that so we can see the bottom of that iPhone. And it's quite a bit. That's pretty high. So it's negative 272. Obviously, this is not perfect. It's not going to work for every image perfectly like that, but we would want to resort and change how our images are, or we could crop them to fit this perfectly, which this image doesn't in this case. All right, so now that we've got that, we could also change the color of the background or the text itself. And in this case, I actually want to put it in the model. So I'll do model, and I'll say text CSS color. And I'm going to give it a char field, max length of, well, we could do this a lot of different ways, but I'm going to use 6. I will say null equals to true and blank equals to true. Again, we will make migrations and then migrate, run the server. All right, so now we can go back into home.html. And we could say color is equal to, well, first off, we'll probably have to do an if statement in here. So if featured image dot text CSS color, is that what we called it? Text CSS color, another end if, and then color equals to. I'm going to just put it as the hashtag here, put that hashtag in front of it. So now we just need to set that color, go into admin, and I'm going to set it into as white, so featured images, FFF, and I'll also change text right. I'll add that in, save it, back to our home page, log out, inspect this element here, see what's going on with the color. Looks like it's not coming in. Oh yeah, because we need to do featured image.text color. And there we go. Changes that text color pretty nice for us. And we also did right. So down here, with this first column, we would do if featured image.text right. Then we'll just say poll right, which is a CSS class from Bootstrap. We refresh in here, and it pulls the text right. In that case, you probably wouldn't want white, but it'd be completely up to you. In fact, you also might not want the image, because if there is no image, then, or if you have a background image, that is, you might not want to show that same image twice. So back to the if statement here, and we'll put this on this column 6 part, and if, and we'll say if not featured background image, make background image. Then we refresh, and the image changed, or at least the layout of it changes quite a bit. Of course, the text and stuff like that is not ideal, it's not perfect, but I just wanted to give you an example of how you could do something like this. If anything, you would probably do if featured image text right. If it's not that, you might do 12 and then text center, and then that way it's going to be right in the middle for you. And that might be what you default to anyway, but it's just more about seeing what you could do here. And also in this case with this text color, you might not necessarily end up wanting it. In this case I do not, but again, it's showing you what you can do. And then you can just click on it and it takes you to that product. And then you can rotate these just like you've seen before in your view, wherever the query set is, this featured image stuff, we could also rotate it, say order by, and this. And then of course you could say filter active equals to true because we didn't update the model manager at all. Then you can have multiple images there. Filter. You can have multiple images. Oops, of course it's not first. It's filter first has to be last. And then you could do all sorts of things here, which is really cool. All right, so if you have any questions on this, let us know. Otherwise, let's keep going.